So let's just beat this thing so you guys can see the ending. Take to battle. So this should be a cakewalk, but you have to win it in like 4 seconds to actually get 5 stars. It's just the point penalty they give you is massive. Matter of fact, it might be impossible to win the crystal on level 10. I think you need to be down at like level 8 or maybe at 9 if you're really, really fast you can win it, but the point penalty you get is less the weaker your level is. You can tell by the color of by the colors what skill set they're in. I just kind of lost track myself.
I'll be quick.
So what I really need to do is, even on this, I can give myself haste real quick. And then switch to Shaman and just murder him. Because the chances of being able to actually build this meter get a lot higher if you're hasted as well. You can see how he's almost halfway dead in his first form here. So you can see how much higher the stats are. Power of Chaos is not going to help you at this point. Your only saving grace here is that I can't possibly win the crystal this way. There must be some temporal on like when you are set at level 0 or level 1, it can be difficult to even get the second form. I need to be up around level 3 or 4 to get the second form if memory serves, although the last time I played this game off screen was months ago. But again, this will be a lot simpler than it was at level 8. The difference between level 9 and 10 is tremendous. The difference between level 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4 are kind of, you can tell, but it's not that big a deal. Level 10 is just way the frick more powerful. You immediately know if you're on a different level. It's almost annoying that you get knocked down by some of its attacks because you're doing so much damage and you're taking so little damage that the you get juggled animation feels ridiculous because you feel like you're way more powerful than this thing. Although this form still takes a minute to kill. You just don't want to be in the middle of an airborne attack when it does anything. Just staying on the ground for a second. I mean, even from my previous loss, I'm already learning a little bit about what I should have done differently there. Sometimes if you know the timing of its attacks, you just wait. Although Obliterating Breath knocks you airborne even if you're on the ground, as we just saw. That's annoying that it knocked me down while I was in the middle of staggering it. It's the most common way to lose when you're powerful enough to win at all is usually because you got knocked or you were in the middle of one of these big fancy attacks when he goes for Mega Flare, which means that you don't get a chance to stop attacking. Oh, I was switching to my Commando class, but I already won. So as you can see, yeah, your level offset wipes out your entire score when you do it at level 10. So when you're at level 10, you're considered way too powerful to get any kind of reward. But, you know, like I was trying to explain, you start off at level 0, you get your butt kicked, you keep trying. Even when you lose, you get some CP, which you use to, quote, level up lightning. Even though leveling up just means it tracks how many CP you've earned. You don't spend them like you do in the Chrysanthemum. You hit a threshold for how many CP you've earned, and suddenly you're allowed to fight at level 1 instead of 0, etc., etc. So the sweet spot is somewhere between 7 and 9, depending on your skill level. You have to win really quickly at level 9. You have a lot more time at level 7, but it's a lot more likely that you'll screw up and get defeated. As you saw at level 8, I almost won, but I was out of practice with this particular fight. And when you get to level 10, the game is just like, yeah, you get to win. Okay, you've been at this a long time. We'll let you see the ending for the DLC. So let's see the ending for the DLC together. Chaos Vomit has been defeated, or banished. And it's fun fighting at level 10, even if you don't get a reward, because you get you actually get, as a player, a little bit of the feeling that, like, Chaos Knight Lightning is, like, really powerful. You get to feel like you're playing as a character who is really powerful.
Let my sister go.
Let my people go.
Do you demand her release?
Do you even know who I am? Because the JG's not sure.
Well, there's so much for feeling powerful. That's just been completely undone.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Yeah, so much for feeling powerful.
Actions would atone for my past.
But apparently there's no forgiveness in the Final Fantasy universe.
After washing off on the shores of Valhalla, I gazed through the eyes of
How would her actions atone for her past? Her past actions consist of doing, like, moving heaven and earth to save her sister in the first game.
Lives beyond counting, swallowed by chaos, and vanishing into the void.
Sounds pretty neat.
Some of those souls had been enemies, dispatched to death's realm by my own hand.
So we just throw her into a background from the previous game, sure.
It was a tragedy I couldn't ignore.
So I got
My
naked.
path was set. I would remain in Valhalla and carry out the will of the goddess.
With my cool new
The
outfit,
sorrows
which shows a
the
lot
dead
of butt
would be mine
cleavage.
to bear. It would be my atonement.
So she feels guilty for all the monsters she defeated in the first game? Like, I don't see what Lightning has to atone for. I mean, unless you count the fact that she kind of probably knows Serah's being sent to her doom in this game.
Into the future.
But that hasn't happened yet.
I needed you, Serah. That's why I asked for your help.
Stud.
It's up to you to keep hope alive.
He's the real main character of the series.
For me, there is nothing. There is no hope.
For me to poop on. Oh,
Serah's
sorry.
death is your doing.
It's a little,
At your bidding,
triumph.
she began her journey. And thus,
Yeah,
her
see,
life was
that's
lost.
in theory what Lightning has to atone for, but that hadn't happened yet when she...
You are to blame for this doom.
You're to blame for Serah's personal doom, I guess, in a way, but A, Serah's only alive because of her, and B, everyone dies if Caius isn't stopped, right? So, I don't know. I feel like
sorry.
I feel like the voice of Yule echoing in Lightning's head, which may or may not actually be coming in some sense from Yule, is just kind of part of Lightning's whole Christ complex, where she feels like she's supposed to carry the sins of the entire Final Fantasy world on her shoulders. Because if you think about it, in the first game, she's fighting the government. I mean, I guess she kills a lot of soldiers from the Sanctum in her efforts to save her sister. But eventually we find out that there's a plot by the evil Bartantalus, who never gets mentioned in this game, to kill everyone. And she is the primary person who stops that. So she should be feeling pretty good about herself. But throughout this game, she's like sitting in this self-imposed exile in a land beyond life and death, overseeing the fates of all, and for whatever reason, I guess she's supposed to know that Serah's going to die if she goes on this funky quest, but we never really understand what other options she has. Like, what if she sent Snow on this quest? What if she sent Vanille? No, Vanille's not an option, I suppose. What if she sent one of the members of Nora on a quest to run around with Stud? Who knows?
Oh, Serah.
Oh, Stud.
Don't be sorry. And forget your tears. You don't need them.
I'm back in my schoolgirl outfit.
No matter what future is waiting for us, I'll have no regrets.
But your future is a future of you being
No matter
dead.
what end we see coming, I won't change my mind.
You knew. You knew what would happen.
Well, I'm not dumb. I mean, they start talking about Yule's dying for seeing the future about a third of the
Taught
way
me
through
how to
the
live
story.
my life. No matter what, we shouldn't give up hope.
Because he's one of the main characters.
Serah.
Stud.
I believe in you. You'll keep the future of this world safe.
The next game that stars you will have a happy
So it's
ending,
okay.
I hope.
I don't mind if I'm gone. Serah!
They spent a lot of time reaching out towards phantom images of each other and
I
yelling
have
each other's
no
names.
regrets. None at all.
Although I really wish I wasn't wearing this
I
outfit,
chose
so I
to
guess...
start my journey because I wanted to see you again.
Getting a chance to briefly see you
There was a
again is
reason I
worth
decided
death.
to keep going. It was a promise I made to myself.
that I would get out of my marriage with Snow by any means
It's
necessary.
okay, Lightning.
Flying around, making... Well, they're not making out, they're just hugging, but they're hugging and bugging.
Don't forget me.
I love the soft and gentle feel of your
The
breastplate.
cocoon fell, and you seemed to just disappear.
I don't know why they switched her back to the schoolgirl outfit for this
Everyone was
sequence,
so
but
sure. They said that you were gone. That you were dead,
They dared to treat me like some kind of psycho.
but not me. I just knew. I knew that you were alive somewhere, and I'd find you eventually.
And that we'd spin around together.
I never gave up hope. And now here we are. Just keep me in your thoughts.
do they really need to have this, like,
Remember me.
sapphic
We'll see each other
romantic
again.
angle to this? Flying around in each other's arms
No
stuff?
matter what happens to me,
They're sisters.
even if I vanish from this world,
There's no hint that Sarah's, you know... Well, whatever.
promise you'll remember me.
I think she'll remember you. You've been, like, her entire raison d'etre for the last 2 games. Although, actually, the 3rd game does play some weird tricks regarding what Lightning does and doesn't remember. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, I need this to end now because now I'm like... I thought it would be a good idea to plow through and do this all in one video, but now I kind of need this video to be over. Thank you again for the butt cleavage shot. Again, it's so close to being this kind of cool, badass, dignified warrior outfit, but then it's like, and butt cleavage.
Petro, are you dropping a hint here?
I'll never forget. I promised you that.
I mean, you could argue that the little angel wing half dress
Even
is
if I
silly.
stand to lose everything.
I think it kind of is a cool
I'll preserve your
fantasy
memory for the
piece of
tomorrow yet to
costuming.
be.
It's just having
Come
that
what
butt
may.
cheek popping out all the time. That's a
I
little...
could breathe my last breath,
I don't know.
and the world be crumbling into oblivion.
And if I don't win the WWE title,
There are
I will
ways
set
to
myself
keep
on
the thought
fire and
alive.
breathe my last.
And I know one that works for sure.
Writing it down?
Indestructible crystal.
What?
Even in the sea of chaos, it never loses its shine.
Wasn't your whole deal on the last game that Snow was an idiot for thinking that Serah was somehow alive in an eternal
Your
crystal?
memory will survive for eternity. With within a crystal tomb.
That was a big part of the last game, is that this
be
belief
my
in this
legacy
crystal
and
tomb
my
that,
atonement.
like, if you complete
But
your
most
focus
of all,
and you're a l'Cie, then you have
my
an
final
eternal life as crystal. And Lightning was like, "That's bullshit. She's dead. You idiots. She's dead." Now it's like a 180 for no real reason.
These thoughts that live within my heart, they will endure the passing of eons.
Sure.
If they can one day be the light that guides Serah's soul back to me.
Throughout the eons, they will be part of the next cycle.
If we can laugh together.
My thoughts
Just
will
one
help
more
teach
time.
future generations to defeat the Reapers.
Well, then I have nothing left to wish for.
Well, that's nice. So she turns into crystal. So the game's like, oh, you didn't like the fact that Serah died? Well, now Lightning's kind of quasi-dead too. How does that cheat you, punks? How dare you question the way we ended our game? Oh, I don't know how long these credits are, but now I'm like looking at freaking splitting a video after the fact. That wasn't the plan. But, you know, I mean, it's very much the post Shintaro Takai. Good Captain. It's very much the post main story ending DLC. Like, if you just play this DLC without playing the main game all the way through because you want Lightning as a playable character, they kind of give a lot away. Although it doesn't make even a little sense unless you already know how the main story goes. And even then, it doesn't make that much sense. I think what happened is Lightning is fighting Caius at various times, and like an army of monsters controlled by Caius trying to kill the goddess Etro. But the goddess Etro will also die if Caius dies, because he has the Heart of Chaos. So that was a bit of weirdness anyway. So essentially what's going on is she loses this fight, and then he goes off to destroy Cocoon. But while she's kind of grappling with all of this in her own head, or maybe she even wins, but I mean, when she's grappling with in her head, like the chaos is flowing around. She has this other fight with Caius, which the game even says, "Is this a dream? Is this really happening?" That's their way of saying we have not actually incorporated a second fight with Caius into the story in a way that makes any sense. But when it's all over, basically the game acknowledges that she feels really guilty about, this is just the main credits all the way through. Like, Captain Cryptic, Arbiter of Time, none of these characters. Arbiter of Time is played by Steve Bloom. So, Lethal, I don't know if you already hated the Arbiter of Time, but, I don't know, maybe I made that exact same joke during the previous credits, I don't remember. But, freaking Steve Bloom. But, yeah, so Lightning calls Serah to go on this journey throughout time, even though she knows it could destroy her, and it does, and now she feels bad. But also, while chaos is spilling out and about to destroy the world, she decides to sit on the throne of Etro and turn into crystal. And she makes a speech about how she's doing this because that will make her feelings and memories of Serah live forever, even though that's completely contrary to how she thought and acted in the previous game. But it also seems like just kind of a self-preservation move. She is going to turn herself into crystal to survive, in a sense, the chaos flowing out. Well, I mean, eventually, I don't know how much longer I'll be doing the hobby. I've been doing it for a while, but eventually I plan on getting to Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13-3. I don't want to do a bunch of spoilers for it, except to say that the ending of Final Fantasy 13 jumps directly into Final Fantasy 13-2, more or less. Because other than that weird prologue, I should say, with Lightning fighting Caius in Valhalla, it pretty much jumps right into Serah not knowing where lightning is and what's going on, and nobody remembers lightning as having lived the way that we remembered it. Final Fantasy XIII-3, for rather obvious reasons, there's kind of some narrative hemming and hawing, and we start the story at a certain point, but the game kind of has to fudge its way to why anything is happening at all, since this game seems to end with the world being consumed by chaos and everyone dying. Everyone doesn't die immediately. And Final Fantasy XIII-3 is kind of set against the backdrop of the world coming to an end. But it's weird. It's a very strange game, for sure. Leveling up doesn't really work the way it does in like any other game. Because the idea is that, well, and we'll wait till we get to it. Now I'm going to have to split this video after the fact. Damn it. I mean, it says the Dolby logo. I could let it just be a really long video. I guess I don't have to decide right away. I could check and see where the split point is. I guess I could have a really short video right after I first lose that fight. Because I was just over 30 minutes when we lost that fight. And figured I would quick win. But I guess I underestimated how long the ending for this is. Because, like, compared to the ending of the Zaz Heads or Tails DLC, this is pretty freaking long. That one doesn't have credits. This one is playing the entire credits of the entire game again. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering why I'm even still watching it. We've seen the credits. Oh well. You have my permission, if you're watching, to drop out now and pick it up next time with the next video. I don't know, because I'm calling it a session at the end of this. I don't know if I'm going to want to do some of the Coliseum DLC stuff or just start collecting some of the fragments that we don't have. I might just do these two DLCs, the Zaz and the Lightning DLCs, and just save the Coliseum for another time. Yeah, I'm skipping this. This is madness. This is Sparta.
The gods' tales are woven
Well,
in
see,
crystal.
there's no point in watching any of the credits.
The tale of Benevelza, the slumbering god, bearing witness to an eternal dream.
The sleepy giant.
The tale of Etro, the goddess drowning in a sea of chaos.
And also slumbering.
Etro bestowed upon humans a gift. Though unseen, that gift, it lies within us all.
She put the fire down below.
It is a constant turmoil of light and darkness, strength and frailty, beauty and unsightliness. That gift is our spirit.
Sure.
It gives us the strength we need to persevere in hardships.
Oh, maybe they are giving us a little hint as to how the next game
But
starts.
at times, it is nothing but a curse, straying beyond our control, causing us pain and sorrow.
If only the spirits could
Even
not
so,
cause hangovers.
It is something far too precious to lose. It is what allows me to hold hope for the future.
Hope S time.
In a world consumed by chaos.
In a world,
consumed by chaos. Fading. I ask myself, have I the strength to embrace my gift?
Well, is your gift a euphemism
For
or?
now, I sleep. My dreams, everlasting. It is here that I await the end of eternity.
In a not too distant future.
And the day I awaken once again.
Oh, okay, so she goes to crystal sleep and then just wakes up. Kind of like Zaz gets teleported to wherever the game needs him to be next. Basically, the ending is she goes to crystal sleep, and when she's done being crystal sleepy, she wakes up and the next game starts. It's also a really good excuse for them not to use any of the maps from this game, because now they're saying, oh, like the next game they're like, oh, the world's been like changed by chaos, so there's like totally different map and stuff. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess we just exited game. Alright, well, I'm not going to try to get another few minutes out of this. I think I'll split this after the fact, but I might split it so where I have a 30-minute video and then a video that's only like 20-something minutes. It'll be okay, folks. You've had plenty of overlength videos in this one. I can do a 20-minute video. It's fine. When we come back next time, we'll probably be going after crystal shards. I might do DLC stuff instead. Either way, there's kind of a lot of this LP left. There's kind of a lot of post-game. Definitely, this is a game where I think for most players, they just have to pick a point where they're done. Because 100%ing this one's going to take a while. Maybe we'll make it, maybe we won't. But we're not done yet. See you next time.